wakashanduka kuchema, kuna mambo Belishazari, mambo we Babiloni, rufaro rwezuba iro, wakashanduka kuchema, kuna mambo Belishazari, mambo we Babiloni, mambo huya, mambo huya idika wakafane kuzikuza, Belishazari wafirei, akatora midziyo kuva ku Jerusalema, mutemberi ya Mwari, akanwiramo waini, akatora midziyo kuva ku Jerusalema, mutemberi ya Mwari, akanwiramo waini, mambo huya, mambo huya idika wakafane kuzikuza, Belishazari wafirei, akawona ruhoko ruchinyora madziro, men tekere ufasini, umambo wako wapera, akawona ruhoko ruchinyora madziro, men tekere ufasini, umambo wako wapera, mambo huya, mambo huya idika wakafane kuzikuza, Belishazari wafirei, mambo huya, mambo huya idika wakafane kuzikuza, Belishazari wafirei.
Welcome to this week's episode of Woman to Woman. I'm your host, Ngwenya. Like I promised you, there is a story that we started with the Blessed all the way from Botswana. And of late, we've been receiving so many stories from our diasporan family. And I just want to encourage all those who come to visit Kumba, please bring your stories to the studio. We want them. When you bring and tell your story, it's like you've written a book. It's cast in stone. It stays there. Your grandchildren, your children's children can just go to our social media handles and retrieve the story. So I just want to encourage you. And remember, we have said, Panupa Woman to Woman, every person has a place, even men, young men, older men, women, anyone. Bring your story. Bring your story. My numbers in Sidzo. Just get hold of me and make an appointment, and then we bring your story kunoku Woman to Woman. I am going to ask our guest to reintroduce herself, and then we can continue from where we left. I'll just do a bit of recap after she has introduced herself. Welcome once again to Woman, to part 2 of Woman to Woman.
Thank you. My name is Blessed Tapua Ngirazi. Yes.
You can greet them in that language again. Hallelujah. I now know how to respond. I was waiting for my part to respond. I will learn a bit of that. All I know in Tswana is Muruti.
Muruti, that's pastor.
Gialebuha.
That's thank you.
Aha, thank you. So Gialebuha, that you are here again for the second part of your story. Very touching story. We ended, remember, she lost her dad when she was doing grade 4. After losing her dad, life became very difficult. And as is with most widows' stories, life changes after the loss of the breadwinner, who was everything in their lives. From the time she lost her dad, life just became something else, and life began to happen. She says that's when life began. You were now telling us your grade 7 results are out. I remember your dad promised that if you become number 1 when you were in grade 4,
Yes.
you would ask for anything you wanted.
Anything I want, yeah.
And you said, all I want is to go to Bonda.
Bottom, yeah,
So
Bonda
that
also.
promise, you know, kind of like died with him, but you thought your mother was part of the promise.
Yes.
Your mother could not bring the promise to fruition. She could
Yes.
not afford your fees,
Yes.
not even for boarding,
Yes.
but even for any school.
Any school.
And there was a need at home for you
Yes.
to look after the orchard,
Yes.
because there were baboons and monkeys in the area.
Yes.
And one had to be home either at the market or at home.
At home, yes.
And you were the chosen one because you were smart. Your mom trusted that you could do it even if you had a gap year.
Yes.
But you didn't quite appreciate where she was coming from.
I didn't.
Until much later. And there was, you know, your relationship kind of like
It drifted.
drifted.
Yes.
Wow. Drifted. I'm just recapping also, trying to bring to the attention of any parent who is watching that there are times when we minimize the needs of our children and think just education, what is it? After all, you are going to go. Or whatever it is that a child might be asking, we kind of minimize because we do not quite understand the pressures that our children go through. We live in a world that is so pressured, but for you, it was just school and you were willing to do anything
for it.
She attempted suicide so many times, she says. And even a family will only maybe see it
now.
Yeah. They don't
know anything.
They don't know anything.
Yes.
Your first attempt was the tablets.
Yes.
The roga, the red,
yes.
and
Then
then
I wanted
you,
to jump
you,
into
you
the
want, she
river.
wanted to jump into a
river. Yes,
into
it's a steep
into
thing.
an angry river.
Yes.
Steep, angry river.
Yes.
That had taken away, swept away homes, boulders, and everything.
Yes.
That's when the voice came.
That's
Maybe
when
you
the
can
voice
take
came.
it. Let's take it from there. I think
Yes.
I've recapped enough. Is there anything that I've left?
No, you
Because
recapped
I
everything.
just want to encourage all our viewers who are seeing this. This is not the first part. Go back a bit. There is the first part where she narrates all these stories. I just thought I should bring you to speed by taking you a little bit so
Yes.
that you can find where to start. Can you please... I
So-
don't want to spend a lot of time, you know. It's your story, by the way. Yes.
Yes. So after when the voice came, I felt a relief, like a stone has been removed from my heart. Like I started to believe that I'm going to school. Like it's real. It felt like I've been
You
registered.
didn't know how or didn't care how.
I didn't know, and I didn't care about who is going to register or what. It felt like someone registered me. So from there, that was the first day. I came singing, you are singing, you are smiling. When I arrived home, my mother had just came and she was cooking.
And she had not seen
I
this
had
person.
stopped talking to her when she came home. That day when I arrived, I said, Mama, how was your day? And I'm smiling. She was shocked.
What had happened? What has happened now?
Like she paused a moment and looked at me like, is everything okay? Because she's seeing now the real me, not that other one. Is there anything that you've cooked? She stopped everything and put food in the plate. It was now some days without seeing me eating. And she put me food. She gave me and I ate. I finished the whole food and she was just sitting there looking at me. Then after that, I stood up, do everything, singing. I was very happy. Whenever I want to cry, that voice comes. Why are you crying? Are the schools open
yet?
I say no. So why are you crying? Then I stayed like that. By the way, this sister of mine who stopped Form 4, she didn't write.
What happened? Why didn't she?
She didn't write because my other sister, not this one, was now Form 4. The other bigger one, the second born. She stopped because we didn't have food. So the other friend of my dad came and said, give me this one. I go, she come and work, he had a restaurant. He works in a restaurant, then I come and give you the what?
The food.
The money every month. Instead, they could say, I'll come and give you the money. Then
So she was working but not getting the salary itself. It was coming home.
Coming home. But she just worked for a short period of time. Then she bumped into Boaz, a soldier. Then she got married. Then she's gone. So Mama, in this whole thing, Mama always talked that we should not trouble her. She's just a newly what? Married person. Leave her. So she was not in the what? In the picture. And whenever that brother-in-law of mine was coming home, I was running away. Remember, he was coming home in what? Yes, in his uniform. So I didn't like him at all. I would run away and come back when he's gone.
And tell me something. Why didn't you like him? Was there a particular reason? Or
that uniform was just pinching me. These are the people who are killing people, because sometimes you come carrying a uniform and that guy is there. Hey, it will just mess me up. And I remember he used to run after me because he liked me. He would run after me, put money here, and I'm running. And Mama, everyone would laugh. He will come stay for 2 days. I will not greet him. I will not talk to him. I will make sure that I play far from him. Yes. And Mama will say, just leave here. I don't know what she's scared of. So this one, she was out of the picture.
Yes.
But she is going to come back to the picture.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
When I was praying, and I continued praying, I want to cry. I can't cry. That voice come. And normally it will come when I'm alone. My brother maybe is coming from there, see me talking alone. Go and tell Mama that your child is going crazy. She's talking alone. She's saying, my mother will say, I say, no, I'll go behind our kitchen. I sit there. I want to cry to say, sometimes I'll come back from the field or from wherever I'm coming from, where Mama sent me. I come back. The other day I came back, my mother had bought uniforms. So I just saw blue.
Whose uniforms now?
I thought it's mine. I carry, I'm Form 1.
Oh.
And they were books, new books. So when I came, I said, yes. I remember jumping and said yes when I was alone. Because I was like, whenever I come back, I check my mother's wardrobe. So when I opened Mama's wardrobe, no one is seeing me again. I'm just checking for that white paper. I saw uniform. I said yes, without even opening it. Is it for a girl or is it for who? And I saw shoes. I saw this,
the back
part of the shoe. And I said yes. I saw books and I said, nice. In the evening, Mama will say, go and take the things that I bought. My heart is like, yay! I'm going to school now. When they come, she opens for my brother and my sister.
There's nothing for you.
There's nothing for me. She took the books. These are yours. These are yours. The money got finished. I didn't manage to buy A, B, C, D. I'm back to square one. So when I was outside, I cried. The voice came. Are the schools open? No. Then in my mind, I'm like, there's this thing which says, God helps someone who helps himself. So what came in my mind, I'm like, blessed, maybe you need to recognize somebody who is rich in this area and write that person a letter. So the person, the only name that keep on ringing in my head, there was this white person called Ford. So Ford was staying in the mission and was always walking with his dog early in the morning. So I'm like, let me write. I wrote him 4 pages. I sat down. This is a 12-year-old child. I wrote it and I remember I was crying. It had tears. I wrote in English.
What were you writing?
I was writing my story. And
okay.
I was just requesting him to say, my father died, we are not working, I don't need you to pay me school fees. Don't buy me uniform. I don't need shoes. I just need you to register me at the cheapest school. 4 pages. I narrated everything. Then I wrote Dear Ford. So we used to fetch. We fetch water from our home. We walk to the mission. There's a tap. So it's scary. You pass through a bush to go to yes. So you have to go in groups. So that day I said, me, I have my own mission. If I go with a group, it doesn't work. And we're queuing. So people were going around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So I woke up around 3 a.m. And he would pass around 4 with his dog doing his running in the morning. So I woke up at 4 a.m. with my 4 pages letter. I ran with my scarf to go and fetch water.
It's a movie.
So when I arrived there, I stood in the ground where I know he passes. So he was passing. I saw him. And it was still dark.
Yeah.
Then I stopped him. Mr. Ford, Mr. Ford. Then he was holding his big dogs. Then he stopped. He paused a bit, Then he saw it's a child. Then he came to me. Then I'm like, I have your letter, because I said if I tell him,
It's
I'll
coming from
cry.
you.
So I said, let me write him a what?
A letter.
A letter. So I said, I have your letter. Then he said, it's mine. Thank you. Then he wanted to put it inside his what? His pocket. And I didn't want that, because I wanted what?
Him to read.
I want him to give me an answer there and there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So he knelt down to go at par with me. Then he was like, okay, you want me to read it? And I said, yes, I want you to read it now. And he was like, now? And I'm like, yes, now. And I was like, okay. Then he knelt down. His dogs are just there. He opened, he read the whole of it. Then he was reading and looking at me, reading and looking at me. In my mind, I felt like he's the one. He's going to register me. Like I had that belief.
Yeah,
and I'm like, he's my last resort. And he had everything that it takes to pay for me. Not even at a cheap school.
At
school. Whatever school, he had everything. Then after reading, he closed the letter. Then he said, this letter is mine, right? I said, yes. Then he said, I'm not giving it back to you. I'm putting it here. In my mind, I'm like, what is he talking about now? Now I want an answer. Is it a yes or is it a no? At the back of my mind, I'm like, he's saying yes. Then lo and behold, blessed. He broke my heart. That time I learned, never have high expectations on people.
Anyone.
To me, he was my last resort. Because he had whatever it takes. Then he said, I'm moving back to Italy in a few weeks to come. So right now, I don't have time of thinking about this. I'm very sorry, my child. See you later. He started to jog.
Oh.
I sat there, a 12-year-old child. I cried. I cried. And this voice, I kept on saying, it's disturbing me now.
That voice came again.
It came again. Why are you crying? And I said, it's disturbing me now, because this one I thought is the last what? Resort. Because he doesn't have to pay uniform, buy uniform, pay school fees, just to register me. And he said, no, I'm leaving in 2 weeks' time. I'm going back to Italy. So right now I have enough stress on my plate. Bye-bye. Thank you for the letter. That's what he said. And he put it in his pocket.
And went.
And he went. Then I grabbed my scalp tin. After a while, I think I sat there for a long period of time. Then I went and queued, fetch water, go back home. Then I'm like, what next? When I arrived home, I continued to pray. Whenever I want to think of something stupid, that voice comes again. Then I started to say, why am I even having a what? A doubt. Then the days, when we're now saying we're on Monday, schools are opening on Tuesday. And I'm like, it's a done what deal now.
There's no way.
There's no way I'm going to go. It's finished. Because the whole day, you know, a day will become like it's 100 years.
Yeah.
When the sun sets, my brothers, everyone, they are preparing. Tomorrow they are going to school. I'm not registered anywhere. I wanted to cry. That voice came. Very loud in both ears. Are the schools open? No. In my mind, I'm like, there's few hours left. What can happen
What can
now?
happen in a few hours?
Then he said, pray. Then I continued to pray. God, I want to go to school. The schools are opening tomorrow, and I'm not registered. And God locate people.
He does.
Who can come and open the door for you. That's where I saw the hand of the Lord.
Amen.
I tried to write a letter. It didn't need a letter. It just needed him. When he says something, no one can close the door. So my door was opened there. In the middle of the night, I saw lights. I was not sleeping with everyone. I was sleeping in the dining room. So our door was by the dining room. So I would sleep on top of the sofa or under. So I was sleeping there. Everyone would not have a problem with me. My mother would say, leave here. So my brother-in-law, this soldier.
The soldier.
Yes, came with us there, these big trucks, the army green one, with soldiers inside it. The people that I don't like to see. But that day, my mindset was changed in the twinkling of a second. So he came, flashes on the door, and me, I opened the door. Who is that? Everyone was fast asleep. So the stair came in, stopped in the yard. He came out. Soldiers came out. They were busy in mangoes in the middle of the night. Lights were everywhere. Then he came, he knocked. When he opened the door, I was the first one to come out. I went, I hugged him like I'm hugging my father.
The same person that you used
That
to
I
run away
don't
from.
like. And he looked at me. I remember he asked me, is everything okay? Then I cried. And tears went on his shoulder. And he didn't know what is going on. Then he was like, it's okay, my name, it's okay. Then after that, when my mother was coming out, I quickly dashed and went and hid behind the door. Then my mother came out. Then they were just talking, hey, hey. Then he was like, Mama, I came to say bye, I'm going to Angola. That time Angola had
There was
the
a
war.
civil war. Yeah.
Yes, and he was a lieutenant colonel, he was training soldiers. So his batch was the one which was going, and he was assigned to go with them. So he was like, I'm going, I came to say bye. But before I leave, your child said, cannot remain alone. So your child said, I need to get one person from here. We tried one at it, so I came here, please give me one person. Hey, behind the door, I said, damn, my prayer has been what?
Answered.
Answered. This is what I was praying for. Then he was like, the person that I'm taking, whoever that you give me, he didn't have a choice. Whoever that you give me, I'll pay school fees, I'll buy uniform, I'll do everything for the kid. Please give me one. Lo and behold, hear what Mama says. Mama says, you take the form 4-1.
Ah.
Then the form 4-1 was called. She's called Naomi. Naomi, come. She went. When she was passing by me behind the door, in my heart, I'm like, if you take my place, this is my place.
This
I
is
prayed
my
for
place.
this.
Yes.
Then she went, she was like, Mama, not me. Me, I'm about to what?
To write.
To write. I can't change teachers. Then my mother said, fine, then Love More should go, my brother. The form 2-1.
The form 2-1.
Then my brother came and said, ndono Natsano. Then my brother, that's why I love him. He said, why don't you make this one go who doesn't have school fees? That's where the issue started. Then my mother said, I used to cry when I was young. Then my mother said, you go there and cry, hey, we will return her back, what? She refused. Then that big brother of mine, by that time he was now married. Home. He was staying at a growth point. So my mother said, this one is the father in the house. So if you want this one to go, go and ask that one for permission.
Why was your issue difficult?
My brother is a hard nut to crack. I don't want to lie. He's a hard nut to crack. So when we went there, he drove. We get inside the car, we drove going there. When we arrived there, I'm just praying that God, please speak to my brother. When we arrived there, you know what he said? He said, okay, fine. What did Mama say? No one will say Mama said no. They said Mama agreed. Then he was like, this one is young. Hey, udaita wakadzi vaviri. Hey, what? Asikana anonetsa. Then vazoti, okay, fine, go. Chienda imumbonorara. Ndosara nchirara. Kandi karota achienda ndo yanchikudzai makuseni kuti haenda inayo. Like seriously? Then when we were on our way back, he didn't approve of it. He said go. When I remain and sleep. Ndikarota achienda ndo yanchikudzai ichi makuseni. Because bamkuru hawana kumenshena kuti he's going there and there. So we went back. So on our way back, I love my brother. Then on our way back, my brother said, let's go and lie to Mama to say he agreed. Iwewe aushaburuke mota. You remain in the car. And I was taken just like that. Auburuke mota, when we arrived, ukaita message uburuka mota kashwashwako. Indru kutambira play. I didn't have a bag. He said iyangane kamona kadikso. Shika ndo kutoda kamona kadiki. I didn't have dresses. My father was buying us, when he buy my brother, he would buy trousers, shorts. So I only had 2 dresses, 2. One was still better, one was torn. Then the other thing were just the shorts, dangali. Little did I know that my brother-in-law is an Adventist, a typical Adventist. So when we arrived home, I couldn't go out of the truck. I remained inside and I hid there so my mother doesn't see me. So because that one can drive a motorbike and come here and say no. So when we arrived, he said, agree, Mama, and Shatodin, and Shato Gari, Tim Resalato. They agreed. I love my sister, I love my brother. They stood up for me. Then things were thrown.
They were part of God's
Yes.
Wow.
Vessels. Then that's how we left. When we were by the gate going into the main road going, my brother is arriving. Takapesa na so.
The motorbike.
Yes. Whatever that remained happening, I don't know. It's history now. That's how I was taken. And when we were now on our way, the sun came out when we were reaching Mutare in town. Then that's when now my brother was telling me that where I'm taking you, they're Adventist. I didn't know what is Adventist. Now my name, I know whenever I come, I've never seen you in a dress. So shata chikaba manji, chafra my shops, tochaga hembe shoma, totenga my uniforms. Registering you are smart, your results will speak for you.
Yes.
We passed by the town. I was bought 2 pairs, new shoes, uniform. Even he said, go and take uniform. I took a long one. In my mind, I was like, I should not make him to buy uniform every time. At least he's paying my school fees. That's enough for me. Then when I came, I said, man, what's that? And I said, uniform, form 4, no, I said, no, you don't buy like people, they will laugh at you. Then he went and took the correct size, yes. Then he took me long sleeve, short sleeve, everything. Then he bought me the books, everything. Then he went, I was registered, started school. Then I grew up with my brother-in-law. So I grew up with my brother-in-law. He's like a dad to me. He passed away.
Oh.
He passed away in 2016.
Oh, shame.
I wish every time when I tell the story to my student, I wish he was there.
He was used by God.
To me, he's not a bamkuru. He's a dad.
He's a dad. He stepped into that.
He's a dad.
He's a dad.
I told him part of my story. And he was like, why didn't you write me a letter? So I grew up with him. My sister was married from outside. And she became an Adventist. That's how I became an Adventist.
Oh.
Then he was like, from now onwards, you'll be going to church with them. He bought me some dresses and everything. Then I joined the church. And I was going to, I loved Sabbath school. I really loved Sabbath school. I didn't like classes. I loved Sabbath school. Then I loved the lesson part in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yes. So how I got baptized, I'm skipping now. How I got baptized, there was a crusade. I remember the pastor, whenever that pastor preaches, wherever he is, it's called Pastor Guizo.
Oh, yes, Pastor
and
Guizo.
Pastor Mbirir.
Hey.
They preached that day. And at home, they were, after the crusade, the 2 weeks crusade, there was going to be baptism. So at home, I told them that I want to get what? Baptized. And I was doing Form 1. Then the mother-in-law to my sister said, man, you are still what? Young. Mm. Baptismal class, that lesson book. So I'll take that chance and teach you the whole thing. Then most of the baptism in I was very stubborn. And I said yes, but in my head I was like, I want to get baptized. Because it seems like people who go on divine, they are those ones who are what? Baptized. Then after on the day I'm skipping, on the day for baptism, people were baptized, a lot of them. Then the pastor now preached again and said, before we go for baptism, and said, someone can want to get baptized right now. But the problem is there's a hindrance in front of you. Maybe there are people who are what? Even he was talking about me. There are people who are saying, no, not now. Who told you that you're going to leave tomorrow? If you want to get baptized, this is the time. Yes. People, they did the vows. I didn't do those. People, they went to be prayed for in front. I didn't do those because the whole family
was there.
I'm very grateful for Madzokera family. I'm very grateful. They raised this girl.
Wow.
They nurtured me. I'm very grateful. They supported me. They are still supporting. They're like my family. Even they are my family.
They are your family.
They are my family.
Yes.
They stood with me. So the day for baptism, when the pastor finishes to baptize, he said, is there anyone who wants to get baptized right now? And someone was assigned to say, please make sure that man in our part do it, because she's stubborn. If she wants to do something, she will do it. So I was just between my other baminis. When I realized that they're not seeing me, wow.
To the pastor.
They saw me, I was already in the water. Yes. When they say we are baptizing, blessed in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Cha! Damn, I was baptized without any changing apparel. Then we go to Mama, the mother-in-law to my sister, stood up where she was sitting. Took her Zambia, and gave and said, "Run, please." Then the father-in-law to my sister had a car. Then they assigned one of the boys, my brother, the younger brother-in-laws, take her home. Then I was taken home to go and change.
But your
in my mind, I'm like, they are going to shout at me, but I was very happy. I felt like fire. I was a new person. Then I came back. Then when we came back in church, choose your what?
Your spiritual parent.
Your spiritual parent. And I'm like, the church was full. I said, mine is there. I remember the pastor had to walk with me and said, okay, fine, we are going to walk. When you find yours, tell me. Yes. Then I went and I chose the mother-in-law to my sister. She became she's my spiritual mom.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And in my mind, I'm still
what
saying,
a beautiful experience.
In the evening, they are going to shout at me. That's what I was thinking. But they actually set me down and said, you are young. You still have to go through a lot of things. You will get baptized, you are here mining. So I was just waiting for evening. So when we came back in the evening, I was happy. The other man, they said they're going to shout at me. So when we came in the evening, congratulations, congratulations. Everyone was happy. From that day, she started to teach me. She taught me. She grounded me.
Wow. Wow.
She grounded me.
What a journey, your story. You know, we're running out of time. We haven't gone to Botswana.
Yet.
We haven't gone to Botswana. What are we going to do?
I don't know.
I think, yes, that was your life here and how you became Adventist.
Yes. And everything from that time since I became an Adventist, I want to be very clear on that. My life changed. Everything that I prayed for. Like, I realized that in life we weigh God in a teaspoon. God is big.
He is much bigger than we
There are
think.
a lot of hurdles and challenges that I would come across with. I'll pray and give God. Other people, they can say I was demanding. I'll tell God that by Friday, this thing should have happened.
That's your relationship with God.
And it will happen.
Yeah.
I'll speak to him like he's sitting there. He became my dad. And he would just locate people who would come to my rescue.
Amen.
So the message that I'm leaving here is, let's not weigh God in a teaspoon. He's big.
He is big.
He owns everything and everyone. He
Are
controls.
You are preaching. You are preaching. You are soon going to make a call. From the way you're speaking, we are soon going to make a call. I'm actually so captivated by the way, the energy that you have, the passion, all that you're bringing out. You know, it's coming from a very sad place, but it's getting better and better as we go towards the end. Let me push you to Botswana.
To Botswana.
How did you get to go to Botswana?
To go to Botswana. When I was in Form 3, I dreamt that
is there anything that you have left that we need? Because
there's a lot. There's a lot. My life is a testimony each day. So let me leave other things. So I dreamt about it that I have to be in Botswana. And I didn't know what is Botswana and where is Botswana. So I remember I wake up and told my other sister, not my blood sister. Yes, the other lady that I was staying with. So I told her about Botswana. And she laughed at me. Blessed, are you
crazy?
Are you crazy? Are you okay?
Okay.
Then after finishing,
let me take you back a bit. You then went on to do your O-level.
O-level, and I passed.
And you passed.
Yes. Then why I did A-level.
You then went on to A-level.
Yes.
And
I passed. And that
only
time,
one in your family. Did anyone in your family go to A-level?
No, it's only me.
You were the smartest.
I don't want to call myself smart.
Well, let's put it, you know, let's put it
so
like
I
that.
went to A-level. And that time, my brother-in-law had a child in boarding school. And he had, how many? 3. And my brother-in-law was a blessing because he paid school fees for more than 10 people.
Yes.
So life was also hard for him. Yes. So when I finished, but he never gave me a blind eye.
Were you in boarding school? Or
no,
or
I was in a very good school.
Okay.
But not boarding, yes.
All right.
He even removed me from the village. I wrote him a letter. They said, I don't like here anymore. That's another story for another day. And he put me in town. Because he had another house in town. Not in town as such, but in Macheke. That's where I grew up. Yes. So I was staying in Macheke.
Okay. All right.
Then I after that dream, we forget about it. Then after A-level, soon after A-level, another headmaster approached me from another sister school. Yes. They needed a BESA, a secretary accountant. A-level, I did commercials. Yes, and I was good. So they approached me. At church, there was one time when I was an assistant treasurer. So this deputy head just approached me while I was waiting for my results.
How had he heard about you?
Agri is a sister school to the high school where I was.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
I was a head girl, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was a head girl. There was a time when I was a head girl. There was a time when I was a deputy head girl. I was a prefect the whole of my life from standard 5.
You went to this new school and became a prefect?
Yes. The other school where I was coming from, because I transferred in Form 2, I was already a deputy head girl. And people didn't like me because of that. And I didn't have a problem with that. I arrived this side. Within few weeks, they said something was donated. They wanted someone to thank those white people who came to donate. No one was available. The teacher for English says, there's someone called Blessed in class. That one, she can speak. Then they came, they said, Blessed, can you thank these people? Then they wanted to write for me. I said, don't write, I'll thank them. Then I went, I thanked them. Then they wanted a deputy head. Then they said, what's the use of having a head girl who can't speak? This one should be a deputy head. Then I was chosen.
In Form 2?
In Form 2, yes.
Wow.
I became a deputy head.
Wow, that was powerful. That's why I'm saying you were smart. you have already demonstrated Form 2 deputy head.
Yes. Where I was coming from, again, I was a deputy.
If you were in Form 4 and a deputy head to...
Then A-level, I was a prefect. Yes.
Okay. Let's go to Botswana.
Then while I went to Botswana, I'm skipping some parts. There's a deputy head who I was working with, a head and a deputy. So this head didn't want to lose sight of me. I used to have a problem with eyes, and I prayed about it. I don't have it anymore. I used to put on specs. So this deputy head came and said, that was 2009. Life was hard. Then he came. I was given, I don't remember, bond, I don't trip, what? That money, which was billions. And when you are given, it can't even buy half loaf of bread. And I was still surviving on my brother-in-law's salary.
Okay.
Even though I'm going to work.
Oh, you were already working, but your brother-in-law still kept...
Yes. Waiting to go to college. Yes. Then this deputy came to me, just from nowhere, and he came and said, Blessed, something I want to talk to you. When now you look like you have the energy, vibrant, and your mind is waking. Why don't you try this thing that my wife is doing? And I said, what is she doing? Then he said, I don't want you to be specific like my wife, what she's doing, but I think it could help you. You can even raise money for yourself to go to college. And I said, how say? Then he was like, you can go to Botswana, go order something. And I said, I don't have even money for startup, not even for getting an ETD. Then he was like, what you need is you can go and find a job there. Then work for some months. Then raise money for what? Starting up a business. A business. Then you can start to buy and and sell. Then raise money for your what? For your college. Because when I can see your brain is working. And I said, so how now am I going to go out of this office to go and get the ETD? Then he was like, your eyes are not that painful. I used to put on specs. And they said, just come here and tell this boss I'll be there. Tell him, make sure that I'll be there. Tell him that your eyes, you need to go and see a doctor. And I said, set. And he said, set. It's a deal, yes. Then I said, but my money is not what? Enough. I remember he gave me 100 rands. Then he said, I'll give you 100 rands. And I'm like, really? I said, yes, I'll give you 100 rands so that you can go. I feel like we are just wasting your energy and wasting you here. And it seems like if you stay here, you'll be forever here.
You're going to end up like this.
I want you to go there. But what I'll do is, I'll keep your job for 3 months. When you find a statement that you say, then I'll make sure that I'll keep on saying, don't look for someone, she'll come back. If 3 months passes,
I know it's
then I know that it's working. And I say, you do that for me. As you say that, I'm here, Blessed, I'm telling you that. Don't worry about the head. So I came back in the morning, my eyes made them red, and I removed my specs. Then I don't want to mention his name. Then I told him that my eyes are painful. Then he said, I can see today they're bad. So what's up? And I said, I have to go to what? And see a doctor in Marondale. Then he was like, I'll give you only 1 day off, 1. And I say, 1 is enough. I said, okay, so you can go. But tomorrow, make sure that I was the one with keys. You are here. And I said, no problem. So when I was leaving, he came out and did this, that go, wish you the best. Then I left. That's the time when people were sleeping at the passport offices.
Oh, for queuing
for ETDs, documents. When I arrived there, God spotted me. I arrived there around 9, and they had already taken the number that they needed. I'm arriving there, people are saying...
Which offices are there or Marondera?
Marondera.
Okay.
And there were 2 queues. People were more than 300 who were there in the queue. Others, they were saying they have days sleeping there. So when I arrived, the people were being chased that you're making noise. You people go, they've already taken the what? The number for the day. They're not taking again. And I'm like, God, I only have 1 day. If this, it's a done deal. So I moved. Then my mind told me that go back to the line again. But the line, they're done. They already put the thing of saying, these are the people, enough numbers. So I just stood there, and we stood there, I think, for 2 hours. Then when they were going for break, another guy came out from the office, was wearing the uniform, and passed. So when he passed me, then he came back. Then he pulled my hand and said, how are you? I said, I'm fine. Then he was like, why are you here? And I said, I want an ETD. They said, the numbers are done. People are going home. And I said, I don't want to go home. I need an ETD today. Then he was like, there's no problem. Come with me. He was going for break. Then he took me into his office. Then he was like, give me the money. And I'm like, it's a scam. Then he was like, don't be scared. Give me the money. Then I took the money, I gave him. Then he went, I don't know wherever he went, he took the forms. Then he came with them. Give me your ID. I gave him. He signed everything. You need the ETD today. I said yes today. He signed everything. Give me the photos. I gave him. Go. Come back after 2 hours at 2. You come and collect your ETD. When you come to my office. I was just shocked, and I'm like, really?
Is this happening when everyone else is
outside there? Then I went outside. I stood there until 2 came. I went straight to his office. I arrived, my ETDs there. Then I'm like, I don't have any money. I said, I don't need you to thank me. You said you want to go to Botswana, right? And I said, yes. Then I said, I'll come back and say officially to say thank you to you. I cried. Then said, don't cry. If you want to thank me, whoever that you come across with in life, help them. If they need help and you're in a position of helping, help them. I don't know why I picked you. And I don't normally do this.
Wow.
So if you want to thank me, don't go and be a prostitute there. Yes. I remember his words vividly. Yes. Don't go and be a prostitute. If you want to thank me, if you see someone in a position who needs your help and you are able to help, please help.
It's like God was speaking through that man from the way you're saying it.
That's what happened to me. And it's like it's fiction, but that's what happened. Then he was like, bye-bye, safe Jane. Don't be a prostitute. He repeated that. And don't come back to thank me. Then I took my ETD. Then I left. And the following day, I didn't go to school. I passed by that deputy head's house, and he was waiting for me to say, did you manage? When I arrived, he was by the veranda, and they said, say it here. I showed him, he was happy, and said, yes, now you go. You go tomorrow. Send your headmaster a message of saying, someone is sick, I don't know, think of something. Tomorrow go to Botswana, go. That's how I left.
And did you know anyone in Botswana?
I didn't know anyone in Botswana. I didn't know even where to get the bus.
So what was your decision?
And I only had, he gave me another 100 rand. So I only had 30 rand. So I took, what do you call this thing? Transport from Macheke to Marondera. Then when I was in Marondera, I'm like, how do I go to Botswana now? I didn't know.
I didn't
know anything. Carried my certificates. I didn't leave them because he said, carry your certificates, go with them. Where you are, your certificates are there.
Did you manage to say goodbye to your mom or to anyone?
I didn't, because I said if I mention it to my mom, she will stop me to go.
She will freak out.
No one knew, including my brother-in-law. I just told him that I'm going somewhere. He asked me where, and I said, I'll tell you when I arrive. You are leaving, and I said,
were you not scared?
Bamkuru, I was not. I was ready to take the challenge.
Very brave young woman.
So I left. I didn't tell anyone. Even in the area, I didn't tell anyone where I was going. At school, they knew that. I told them that my mother is not well. So don't ask me when am I coming back, because it will just depend on how she's feeling. The only person who knew exactly where I went was the deputy head. And
So
I'm grateful
tell
to
me
him.
in the
Then
yes.
I went to Botswana. Botswana is the one that has everything.
But how do you say Botswana has everything when we are almost towards the end of our episode?
I don't.
In the interest of time, your story is very captivating. And that's why I think it's like a fiction, like a movie. But here you are. It's a real story.
Yes.
But you know what? From now, like I said, in the interest of time, I'll allow you to say without much interruption from me.
Okay.
You are in Botswana. Well, maybe just give us a small part of, you didn't know where Botswana was.
Yes.
And how life was as
Yes.
you started.
Yes.
Where you are now.
Yes.
And what you have, where your life is. We know where you're coming from, but where are you now? Let me leave you to give us what you have.
Thank you, ma'am. So when I was in Marondera, I asked people, where do I get something to go to Botswana? Then I was told that that's the stop. So I went there by the stop. When I wanted to stop, I saw another lady who was there. Then we just started to talk. Then she was like, I'm also going to what? To Botswana. And I'm like, yes, I have someone to what? To go with. And I was like, where are you going? Because me, I was like, I want to go to Gaborone. I don't want any other place. I want Gaborone. Then she was like, I'm going to Gaborone. That's where I'm going. And I said, I don't know the place. I said, don't worry, we'll go together. So we went. Then in Bulawayo, we entered into a train. Then my money got finished. Arriving there, I had 10 pula. Changing the money, I had only 10 pula.
This is where Bulawayo?
In Gaborone.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
We went by train from Bulawayo. There was a train that time.
And you only had 10 pula?
10 pula with me. So when we arrived there, she said, where are you going? This is Gaborone. We're in Gaborone right now. Where are you going? I said, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know anyone. Then she was like, there's where Zimbabweans stay. But you pay 10 pula per night to sleep there. And I only had a small blanket, a track suit, and one top and a skirt. Yes. And some sneakers and some slippers. That's it. And my towel, my soap, and the toiletries. That's it. Then she was like, I'll take you there. No cup, no nothing. Then she was like, let's go together. Then we went there in another place. I don't want to mention the place. Then we went there. When we arrived there, I had my 10 pool. Then she said, I'll pay you for the what?
For the night?
For the kombi.
Oh, okay.
Because she was someone who always go and come back. When we arrived there, she introduced me to the landlord. That I brought another one. She wants to what? To sleep here. No problem. I paid my what? My 10 pula. Mind you, I don't have food. I'm very hungry.
That's the last
I don't have anything. Then they take us to the room. In my mind, I have this other thinking of saying the room is... Arriving there, the room, it's small. And there were more than 10 people who were staying there. And those ones who were already there, they have bags which are piled.
There are places, they've marked their places.
They have the paraffin stove. Everyone has their own things. And the space, I'm like, really? In the evening, I'm just sitting there. You can't take someone's place. I think they were already there before you. When they came, then that lady, now everyone was like, who is this? Who is this? Hey, wait. That lady said, just come and sleep next to me. Whereby when you sleep, when you want to turn, you have to tell others that we are turning. You are pegged like a cement.
That bed.
Yes. And I stayed there. The following day, I don't know Dumelang. I don't know what does that mean. Dumelang is greeting.
Yes.
I don't know anything. And that time, it was difficult to converse with them because if you speak in English, they will just tell you that akiti score.
Meaning what?
I don't know English. And me, I can't converse in Setswana. And they are speaking, I don't hear anything. I have my selfies in my bag. And the ladies were in that house. Every day in the morning, they would wake up early in the morning and dress up like they're working in offices. So in my mind, I'm like, these people are going to work, so it's easy to get a what? A job. Little did I know that they were thieves. Some of them, they were stealing. Some of them, they were selling. Some of them, they were just doing different things. Yes. I remember after 2 days, because I didn't have food, people used to say, eat this, whatever that they eat. After they finish
the leftovers,
they say, I can give you this. Others say, don't give her. Then I remember another girl approached me and said, Blessed, I found you a job. You don't have anywhere to put your head, right? And I said, yes. You don't have food, right? And I said, yes. I said, I found you a job. And I was
How long
inside.
did you stay in this place?
In this place, I think I stayed for more than 2 weeks.
Living on leftovers?
Yes. They ended up not giving me food because of this story that I want to talk about. So she said, I found you what?
A job.
Which will give you a roof on top of your head, food, and you live properly. And I said, hallelujah. Prayer what? Answered. And I said, take me there. I said, the person is outside. Because there I was lectured by, there was another old lady who was inside in this crew. So she set me down and said, here certificates, they don't work when you're arriving because you don't know anyone now. There's no pressing buttons anyway. So the best thing that you can do is, forget about certificate. You do whatever that is there. Hey, there's no fast money. And I'm like, I don't mind being a what? I don't mind being a. She said, do you know how to wash? And I said, I know how to wash. And he said, do you know how to iron? I said, I was ironing for a soldier. How can I not iron? And do you know how to cook? I said, I can cook. Then she was like, we can move around and say, a piece job. You're looking for a what? For a job. And I said, okay, but I don't know how to greet them in what. So she said, I'll go with you. Yes. So before that one, this lady came and said, I found you a job. Let's go out. The person is outside. I went there. There was this old man in a very big car. Then he was like, this is the girl that I was telling you about. Then I'm like, which kind of job is this one now? Then this man said, so how much is per night? And I'm like, what?
Per night? Ish.
And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm the right person that you're looking for. Then I turned because I told myself, I'm not going to be a prostitute there. Then I walked, I went back, and that girl became angry. And she came and told the others. Then they said, let's stop giving her what?
Food. She will take any job.
I remember they told me that you want to eat whose body? If you're refusing to use yours,
your body.
Who you want to eat whose body? Whose food? Then life became now very hard.
Difficult.
Because the landlord wants
rental
money.
Your stomach needs
My
food.
stomach, I remember there's a day when I cried and I'm saying, God, give me money to go back home. At least that's when you hear your mother's voice saying, don't throw food. I was very hungry. That day I woke up early in the morning alone. And I said, let me just go into doors and try find something to eat. A job so that I can buy something. I walked. As I was walking, I couldn't find anything. The day moved. When I was coming back, I passed by this car wash. I was not looking at anyone. I was just walking. Then there's this guy who ran after me. As we speak right now, I can't even remember his face. He came and said, sister, how are you? And I said, I'm fine. You know when you're absorbed in thoughts. Then he was like, take this. And I just hit his hand. I continued to walk. Then he took 100 pula. He put it behind my back. Then now I was fighting to say, what did he put on my what? On my back. Then I jumped. Then it fell. It's money. I looked back. He had ran. He went back. I didn't see where he went. I checked. I was owing 70 pula. Rent money. And that day the landlord was like, blessed, if it keeps like this, I can't keep you in the house. And when I left that house, I said, God, I can't kill myself. I need to return Zimbabwe when I'm alive. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
And by this time, are the people back home, in the north where you are?
Back home, they think I'm at work there in Zimbabwe. This is my own
There
thing.
you are in a foreign country wishing for death.
Foreign, yeah. I didn't wish for death today. I said, I don't want to die. I just want money to go back, what?
Home.
Home, yes. So I was given that 100 and said, speed, going back home. When I arrived, people, they labeled me that I'm a prostitute. Where did I get the 100? Then I went, I cleared my what? My rent house. I paid even for the day in advance. I remained to 20 pula. I survived on bread. I went and bought bread. And came, I stayed. The following day, I'm just trying to leave other things. Then I was taken by this lady. She said, let's go, there are farms outside the city. And I said, I don't mind, I can plow. You know, you reach that point whereby you can do anything. Yes, I said, take me there. And she was like, the way you're speaking your English, where now you can plow. And I said, take me there, let's go. We went there, we couldn't find a job. Then she was like, okay, fine, we'll move door to door. looking for what?
For job.
For peace job. When we arrive, they speak English. When you talk English. When we arrive, they don't want to speak in English. I'll speak in Setswana. And they said, God, we moved around, no job. When we were coming back, we bumped into this house. I'm grateful for Eileen Mutusha. We knocked there, she was a maid there. We knocked there, she came out. Then she was like, hi, and I said, hi. I said, wow, are you from Zim? And I said, I am. And she was like, I'm lonely here, I don't have a friend. Can you be my friend? Then I said, yes. Then she said, from now onwards, you're my little sister. And I said, really? They said, I know you're hungry, come in. We went in, the boss was not there. She cooked food, we ate. Then she was like, then the mother said, this younger sister of yours, she doesn't have money for rent. She doesn't have food. They said, don't worry, every day I'll come with food for you. Whenever my boss goes, I'll bring food for you. And she'll bring food for me. She'll come pay rent for me. Then another day we were walking. I'm trying to skip some things. We were walking from the shops. I went to her. Now I was just going to her. Move around, we can't find anything. Like people, they flock outside. It's not what we think it is. It's not.
Thank you. Please tell us some more about that part. Where people just think when they go outside the country,
they just think, especially if you don't have anyone that you know there.
You'd rather stay here.
Stay here. It's hard out there. I lived a hard life. I'm a typical testimony.
Yes.
It was a short space of time, but it seemed like it's 5 years. When we're coming from the shop, another car stopped. It was for a pilot. Then he was like, he's looking for a maid. And I'm like, prayer what? Answered. You don't look for anything big. Anything at least to start from. I don't know why people run for fast money. You start from somewhere.
You start from somewhere.
Yes, young people, it should get inside young people's head that you start, you work for everything.
Yes.
You don't become rich overnight. No, you work for it.
Hey, where are you now? You know, I want everything.
Let me tell you everything.
But
allow me to tell you.
I wish.
There's a part when someone died in my hands. You need to hear that.
Please. What happened?
And I can't skip this part because it will take me there.
We were talking about the pilot.
The pilot, yes.
Yes.
So the pilot said he wants a maid. And we were like, good, at least we found someone who's got money. Then he said, I'll give her 450. That time 450, it was a lot of what? A lot of money. Most maids were earning 350, 400. And he offered what? 450. Then the first thing that I did when I arrived in Botswana, I forgot to mention that. I looked for church. I looked for church, and then I was shown church. Then whoever I told myself, wherever I go to work, before I start to work, before we sign up any agreement, I tell them I'm an Adventist. I don't work on Sabbath. So I told him there and there that I'm an what? An Adventist. I don't work on Sabbath. Then he was like, I don't have a problem with that. Every Friday you what? You go out. Then you come back on Sunday or Monday morning. Then they were like, okay, fine. Then he was like, I'll give you 450. I have a wife and 2 kids. And I stay in a big what? House. I said, that's not any issue. Then he was like, so let's go now. Then he drove, went to that girl's house, took my small bag, take me, he went with me. Little did I know. Arriving there, there's no wife. He was lying to me. There was no wife, there were no 2 kids. The kids that he was talking about were bulldogs. And he's staying in a house like a state house, in a house which has those walls whereby even when you scream, no one hears you. Then when we arrived there, hey, the yard, that pilot was living, I think those rooms were more than 8.
And he was living there?
Only 1. Then when I entered the house, I've never seen a house like that. If heaven is like that, I've never seen a house like that.
Blessed.
Then I entered into that house. I'm expecting to be shown that this is my wife. These are the 2 kids. The first thing that he showed me were those bulldogs, which were very scary. They were big. Then we entered into the house. Then he was like, I live here by myself. And I said, but when I was with my sister, he told me that you have a wife. And I said, I was just saying. Then he said, I'm giving you my rules now. I'm a pilot. I'm not always home. You'll be here. We're not alone. And I said, no problem. Then he was like, I'll go with my remote. You don't go out because you steal my things. Because that house is something else. I've never seen a house like that. It's something else. Then he was like, you will not go out because you steal my things. And I said, I don't have a problem with that, but make sure that Friday I'm out of here. Then he was like, I don't have a problem with that. And I said, good. Then When I entered, he said, I have a lot of laundry that needs to be washed. A room full of clothes, like as if there are 20 people. He has different T-shirts, different shorts. Shoo! I've never seen something like that. And he was like, there's a washing machine, but when you are a Zimbabwean, you came here to work. So you're going to work. And I said, that's why I'm here. And he was like, you're obedient. And I said, good. You don't use my washing machine, you use your hands. And I said, as we are raised, we don't have washing what?
Machines.
I don't have a problem in what? In washing.
washing.
Then he was like, my shirts have a certain way of washing. And I said, you will show me. Then he was like, you wash first. Then I'll tell you after
you are
I've
washing.
seen if you washed it correctly or I'll show you. And I said, no problem. Then I stayed there I'm cutting. I stayed there for 3 days. Then he said, you don't eat in my house. You don't cook in my house. You only cook when I come back. You don't touch anything in my house when I'm not here, especially in the kitchen. Your job here is to work. That's why I'm emphasizing on young people. Don't just flock if you don't know anyone. Life was hard.
Life was hard. So where were you eating? You were not as...
I did everything. I washed. You go dry. You clean the house. The house is like, the walls are tiled. It's like glass. And there were many rooms. I cleaned everywhere. I checked time. It's 2 p.m. He's not home. I'm hungry. I feel like I'm collapsing. I only drank water. I couldn't touch anything. He said, don't touch anything. When you go in the kitchen, you can see yourself everywhere. Then 5 p.m., 6, there are cameras everywhere. Then 6 p.m., 7, he came at 8. I'm very hungry. I didn't even find time to put my down, to sit down. I didn't. Then when he came back, I'm dizzy. Then he was like, now I need to show you how to cook. I'm cooking. Then he made porridge. There's something called motoho in Botswana.
I know it.
He made that thing. And me, it's something that I didn't what?
No.
Porridge. Then he put in a plate. Then he was like, this thing, you don't put too much sugar. And when I was growing up, we were not eating porridge without what? Sugar. And this porridge is brown. And me, I know the white one. You try this. You just eat because you're what?
You're hungry.
You're hungry. After eating, then he was like, that's our supper. I'm like, really? Does he know that I spent the whole day standing?
Working.
Hey, then he said, you didn't come here to eat. I'm not here to feed you. You're here to work. You Zimbabweans, you came to work. Then he was like, by the way, when he came, he entered, then he did this, the floor. I've never seen a man who does that. He does that, and he said, you're a good cleaner. He went to the windows. You're good, because he said his windows, they need to be cleaned after every 3 days. And I washed the piles and piles. I didn't even manage to finish the laundry. I washed it for 3 days. It was a room packed.
Of dirty clothes?
Yes, the house was dirty. And I cleaned. And he never paid me even a cent.
Oh.
Yes. Because he came day 2, same thing. Day 3, I felt like I'm going to collapse. Because day 3, I was doing the bedding, washing, and ironing. And the whole house, windows have to be cleaned, everything have to be cleaned. And I felt this, then I was like, blessed, you're going to collapse here. And the house is like a store. It has everything. Then I saw Zimba, nuts, the small ones, which has raisins. And I'm like, if I just pull that one and I can drink water so that I can continue the job, that could work out. Because he said, don't cook, don't touch my things. So I just went and took that Zimba. I wanted to take, there was bread. And I'm saying, that's too big. The fridges, the food, and I'm saying that's too big. Let me just take the small what? Zimba. I ate that, I drank water, I proceeded with what? With work and arranging.
Blessed. Now you are pushing us to do part 3 of this same story.
I don't know. But that's how life is. And
but that's
why
not where you are.
The main thing that I came here for is that young people should think. If you don't know anyone out,
don't go.
Stop.
I think that's very important. We cannot live without you stressing that point. Because I think that's where our story is. Like she's saying, that's why she came here. That's what she came here for. There are so many young people who are coming home damaged.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, because of things that they go through. they leave home for greener pastures, but actually there is no green pasture. If you don't know anyone, if you have no, I don't know.
Wait. Don't rush.
Don't rush. Don't rush.
Yeah.
There is more to your story that I wanted us to go on to. Let's take this break. As we are coming to a close, I don't know what we are going to do. I will need to depend on the guys, the crew behind the camera, for assistance with this one. I think we need to continue with this story. Blessed is going back to Botswana, and we might never get the lessons that she has brought us in this story. But I think let's allow this, because we flight them in given time. Let's allow this story to come to an end. I cannot even allow you. We no longer have time to give the final whatever. But let me just thank you. I just want to thank you for this part. I don't know what we will do. If time allows, I'll book you again. I need the other part, because your story does not have to end in tears. It's a beautiful story, and I wanted that part. But I wanted to say, how did you then get on to the other part? And we don't have that just yet. But for now, allow me to take this break. I've heard so many stories on this platform, but here is a story that is so unique. I'm going to allow Blessed to give us the final part. Not that that's the end, but that's what we can afford with the given time. Just give us a round off of what you have, the lessons that you brought for our young people, and also where you are now.
Where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that I've left out.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That's where the lessons are.
That's where the lessons are.
Yes.
What do we do? Do you think you can make another day? Do you have time?
I don't have another day but today.
You don't have another day but today?
Yes.
Okay, maybe just give us one lesson. Just give us one more lesson of what going in the diaspora as a young person was like for you. My experience is ACO. Even for the parents, it's also what do we need to know?
The first lesson that I'll say is, if you're a young person and you don't have anyone that you know out there, and you're just going, stop. Put a pause. Then the second lesson is, when you're out there, never have any expectations on anyone. People change.
People change.
Yes. The third one is, don't give up on yourself. Don't live for anyone. Live for yourself. And don't give up on yourself.
Don't give up on you.
Yes. Then another one is, this one's supposed to be the first one. When you arrive in an area, to all Christians, find where church is. And stay.
How did that
in the
work
church.
Positively for you? Just
it actually worked for me. Because whenever I go, I used to go for Wednesday prayers, Friday prayers, on
Make yourself
Sabbath.
visible.
Yes, and it actually calmed my nerves. If I have a mind which I'm thinking something that is not good, it will calm down. Because you reach a point where you don't have food, everything is just a mess. Yes. We didn't even reach to the juicy part.
As she is saying, we haven't even gotten to the juicy part.
There's a lot of things that happened that I wished, that's why I texted you. I wished people could know. That could help make young people to tread softly.
Let's see if we can do part 3. Let's see if we can do part 3.
In this greener pastures.
Let's see if we can do part 3. But for this segment, I think we've come to the end of our program. Allow me to just pray with Blessed, and then we'll make a plan and see if we can do part 3, which is the juicer part, like she says. So keep your eyes glued for part 3. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm just hoping, like you said, God is not weighed in a teaspoon.
Yes.
He makes all things possible. There is definitely someone who is needing these lessons.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm going to ask you to pray. I'll ask you to pray as we close this segment.
Okay.
Yes.
Our Heavenly Father, we come before that throne of grace and mercy. Thank you, dear Jesus, for being so real and visible. Thank you, Lord, for opening doors which were closed. And thank you, Lord, for loving young people, for loving orphans, for loving us so much to an extent whereby it surpasses human understanding. And thank you, Lord, for locating each and every individual, for you do not select where we come from or where you are the only one who needs where we are going and where we are coming from. For you said you know the thoughts and plans that you have for us, thoughts not to destroy, but to give us an expected end. And thank you for the experiences that we go through. It's just purifying us so that we can have a story to tell in heaven. How I pray that in everything, in the midst of everything, compel us to make the right choices and to stay in the palm of your hand. If there is anyone out there who is hurting, how I pray that, Lord, remind them when the pain is so much, you are the only one who can answer prayer. You're the only one who can soothe and pick up the broken pieces and amend us and make us whole again. Thank you, dear Jesus, for being so real. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
He knows that I am longing some weary soul to win, and so he bids me go and speak the loving word for him. He bids me tell his wondrous love and why he came to die, and so we work together, my Lord and I. And so we work together, my Lord and I. Domuza zangu zese Faro nenamo Domuza zinondifadza Anondi Uza zanoda Nekuyeta kwangu Ticha taura Eni ticha taura wazuguthi kwandele naguthi shumayela izilo sindiso uthangilande ngothanda zisebenza ndawonye mina zisebenza ndawonye mina naye sesohlala ndawonye mina naye. And so we work together, my Lord and I. Taura teseyeni sisebenza ndawonye mina naye.